Of all the many forms of rule proposed and used throughout history, including monarchy, aristocracy, democracy, to the still common one-party dictatorship or military junta, the only one that has become a global language and that people all around the world say they want to live in is democracy. That legitimate rule should be determined by every adult on an equal basis is, in historical terms, revolutionary. The divine right of monarchs to rule took a severe blow when Charles I was executed in 1649, and the natural order which placed the right to rule in the hands of nobles and aristocrats was cut down to size during the French Revolution. This change in the meaning of legitimate rule occurred during the Industrial Revolution and the birth of capitalism, which is not really that surprising. Suddenly, many non-nobles were becoming extraordinarily rich, and many nobles, on the other hand, were quite clearly fools. It became very obvious that intelligence and ability to rule was not necessarily linked to blood. But if neither monarchy nor aristocracy was the way to rule, then who should rule? In the UK and France and the US, after their respective revolutions, all the rich white men meeting to decide who should rule came up with more or less the same answer: rich white men should rule. So they instituted constitutional government, held elections where only rich men could vote, took seats in government, and made the laws. Some people, women, African Americans, the poor, thought this was unfair, and after much struggle they also won the right to vote, by which time something strange had happened. Constitutional government by election had been rechristened as democracy. Another strange thing is that nowadays, decades after women and other disempowered people won the right to vote, the composition of our parliament still hasn't changed very much. There are still many more men than women, and those elected are still, in general, much richer than the rest of us. Elections have failed us. Everyone may be able to vote, but a wealthy few still hold the purse strings that fund the parties whose leaders take power. We won the struggle for legal equality, but lost the political battle for control of our legislatures. Fortunately, there is an alternative, and it's as old as democracy itself. It's called sortition, or random selection, and actually it was how the ancient Athenians populated the vast majority of their political offices. They randomly selected people to councils and the courts and gave them power. Even more exciting is that sortition, or random selection, is enjoying a resurgence of interest around the globe, from Australia to Bolivia, Canada, Ireland, the Netherlands and the UK. The inherent legitimacy of using random selection is being rediscovered. There will, however, be a drastic side effect from replacing elections with sortition, or perhaps it is a benefit. Sortition will lead to the end of politicians. So if you want to explore the meaning of legitimate government, challenge your ideas about what democracy means, learn about democracy's convoluted history, and discover an inspiring democratic alternative, then you'll want to read The End of Politicians, Time for a Real Democracy. You can find it wherever interesting books are sold, or you can find out more about it at www.bretthennig.com.